All right, so we are making a sunflowers picture inspired by the artwork of Vincent van Gogh. And we're going to start in the center here, a little bit higher up than the middle. And we're going to make this sunflower circle for the center of the sunflower. So you'll probably want to draw in pencil. I'm doing permanent marker because it shows up better on the video. And then we're going to make another circle a little bit off to the side here. Leave a little space for some petals on the sunflower. And then another one we're going to see to the side view higher up. So more like an oval shape. And then this one also an oval shape off to the side. And then another one down lower here. Another oval kind of shape. This one's sort of wilting. Okay. Then we're going to add some curvy lines for the petals going around each one, and you can also add in a second layer of petals behind or in between that first layer. They might overlap with another sunflower, that's fine. So just sort of triangular shape, maybe a little bit more wavy than just a plain triangle. They're not real long. The center is often the biggest part of the sunflower, with the petals being kind of small in comparison. Okay, this one is facing towards the side, so we don't actually see all the petals. And this one also has a stem that just has a few leaves on it. And this one down here will also have a stem. And then some green leaves probably coming off of that one. And then some petals wilting off of the sides of that. And then this one's another side facing one. Okay, this one also will see a little bit of a stem going into the others if you have space. And then a few green leaves kind of extending beyond the flowers. I think that's probably enough for that one. And then I'm just going to give a little hint of the center where it's darker inside each sunflower. And then the suggestion of the vase coming out and then back in. It's almost like a diamond shape vase. And this part curving out and this part connecting back in. And then behind it, the table line, and maybe a few lines here just to show that it is curving darker towards the edges. All right, then I believe we are ready for coloring in. So Vincent van Gogh was born in Holland in 1853 and he died in France in 1890. The sunflowers painting he did in 1888. There were 5 different sunflower paintings. So they wouldn't all have the same background color, maybe not all the same vase. So you can use whatever colors you would like for your picture. I've got a tiger orange here, which is a little bit darker than your regular orange, but a regular orange would be fine too. And Vincent van Gogh's art style was called Postimpressionism. He had a very expressive kind of art style. He was expressing his feelings through his art. So I'm using some black here on the centers. So his use of colors and the way that he painted and drew wasn't exactly like real life. He made his impression of what he saw. He wasn't worried about making things look exactly as they do in real life. So the colors and the objects themselves aren't always going to look like real life, but you can tell what they are. So not completely abstract, but yet not exactly like real life. And Vincent van Gogh was also the famous painter who cut off part of his own ear. That's what a lot of people remember about Vincent van Gogh when they learn art history. And that is, he had a lot of problems during his life with the way that he felt. So he was living with his friend Paul Gauguin, who was another artist, and he became very upset when his friend Paul Gauguin left. And that was around the time that he cut off part of his own ear. It's hard for us to understand, but he always had problems during his life with the way that he felt. Yet he was a very famous painter, very famous, very gifted artist. So I'm going to quickly fill in these circles for the sunflower seeds. I would expect you to want to work a little bit more slowly than this. And you might want to outline your picture with black Sharpie before you do your coloring. If you decide to outline with black Crayola marker, you might want to do that last because the Crayola markers will blend with each other if they overlap. The permanent marker is permanent, therefore it won't get mixed in with your other colors. Down here on the vase, I also wanted to use some some brown, especially coloring in darker along the edges, and then picking up my marker and spreading out my lines more towards the center. give it a more rounded look. Okay, and then plenty of yellow in the petals. Trying not to color in the parts that I was planning on making green leaves. And again, my original, I worked more slowly than this, but this will give you the suggestion of the colors that I used in the areas that I used them. I also did some yellow in the vase. And again, trying to keep some white along the center to give it the suggestion that it is more rounded. And some green for the leaves that are kind of just popping out. And green for the stems. And behind the sunflowers, where it's connecting in with the stem, we want that to be green as well. And I added in a little bit of orange along my sunflower petals. So you might want to do like each one sort of individually, just giving it a little stripe of orange along the edge or through the center, whatever you think will look the best. So I'm just making my lines come out of the center, just like the rays of the sun. And also in the ones that are not facing forward. And this one that is drooping down a bit. Missed a little green spot there. And then I used pink for my background. I also thought it might look nice to use some blue for the background. And I noticed that one of his other versions of the sunflowers did have a blue background. So you could color in, you know, it completely solid if you wanted to. Or just, you know, a few light lines just to give it a little bit of a suggestion of a background. All right, and I hope yours turns out just wonderfully for you. Good luck.